Welcome to Smart, Amazing Conversations with Dr. Nancy, a podcast that takes a look at stories of life and leadership for smart, amazing women and men like you.
The way I can give support to the world right now is by showing up. The most important thing is don't think just that you have to bring anything. Bring yourself, show up.
If you are in a position of leadership and a position of management, bring women along with you.
Supporting women is Dr. Nancy's passion and her purpose, and talking with other women and men who promote women's leadership is one of her favorite things to do.
I've yet to meet a woman who did not know what she really wanted. She was just either afraid to ask the questions or she was afraid of what the answers meant.
Their stories connect us and help us understand that the possibilities are endless if we support each other and lift other women up.
Trust is created by persistent identity. I show up in my conversations. I build relationships. I show up as myself time and time and time again. And trust is built. It's one conversation at a time.
Karen Korponai is the CEO and founder of Konscious Konsulting and the senior advisor and LP to purpose-driven visionary private equity group. Karen guides conscious companies in their quest to turn visions into reality. She promotes the business paradigm that focuses on people, planet, purpose, and prosperity. Karen graduated with an MBA from Thunderbird School of Global Management and has worked for over 20 years with global celebrity brands such as George Foreman, Bob Marley, and Akon. Her consulting company supports the visions of organizations with business development, sustainable strategies, and strategic partnerships. One of her first projects included a C-suite position at Akon Lighting Africa, which brought solar energy solutions to over 1 million rural households in over 10 countries. Karen was the first hire and is a founding member of the House of Marley Consumer Electronics Leadership Team and launched the brand in over 20 countries. She was involved in all aspects of the business with the goal of spreading Bob Marley's vision of creating a better world through earth-friendly audio products. Using her skill of fostering strategic partnerships between like-minded organizations, Karen is an ambassador for the Global Blockchain Business Council, a board member for playingforchange.org, which uses music for positive change in over 50 schools in 17 countries, and an advisor to daughtersforearth.org, an organization that gives grants to women leaders who impact climate change. Now here's Dr. Nancy and her guest, Karen Korponai.
One of the things I always ask in these podcasts, these conversations, is for the guest to tell me about themselves, how they got to be the person I'm talking to today. And that's the most important thing of all, is your story. So tell me about you, Karen. How'd you get to be you? How did that happen?
Well, first of all, thank you, Nancy, and thank you for having me for the podcast. And I just love what you've created with Women Connect for Good. So I'm excited and happy to be here. A bit about myself and my journey. My mom is Bolivian and my dad's American, so I got to experience both cultures. And I saw my dad working with the U.S. Agency for International Development, and he was always doing these amazing projects and having an impact. And I thought, I want to be a diplomat. I think it's really amazing, the work that he's doing. So I went to the University of Colorado. I studied international affairs. I went down that route to become a diplomat. I worked for some USAID funded projects in both Bolivia and in Egypt. I got to live in Egypt for 2 years. And what I realized is that they do great work and they create these incredible programs to impact lives, but they're only funded for like 5 years. And then if the funding pulls out, these programs collapse. And so I realized there's got to be a better way. There's got to be a better way to budget, to manage the money, to manage the funds, to make these companies sustainable, right? So that they can keep operating on their own. So I figured there's got to be a better way to do this. And so I decided to go get my MBA. And I went to Thunderbird with a focus in international business because I've always been passionate about international and travel. Sure. And I studied marketing with an international business focus. And at the time, the economy crashed. And I had all this student debt and I was like, what am I going to do? And so my friend said, just move to Miami. You speak Spanish. It's a hub for Latin America, get any job, you'll just find a job in Miami. So I did that and I landed a job in kitchen appliances. And in kitchen appliances, it gave me the great playground to learn about business, right? It was a decade in Oster, Mr. Coffee, Sunbeam, Black & Decker, George Foreman. And I learned about sales and marketing and branding. And I got to go to China and I learned about new product development, but I wasn't passionate, right, about the product. I wasn't passionate about that industry. And I didn't feel like I was really having an impact.
Yeah.
And so I was really restless, and they created a role for me on this side, which is called Trend Tracker. And I got to go to all of these conferences tracking trends. And I started learning about the green movement. And I was like, oh, this is exciting. This is what I want to get into. And so I came back all excited, and I said, there's this green movement. We've got to do something, right? So they thought I was crazy. But they did. They supported me, and they allowed me to create a couple programs within the company that actually saved the company money and were more sustainable. So I saved the company like $500,000 just by redesigning the instruction books, and they ended up being more sustainable, right? Used less materials. We created a refurbishing program where like 60,000 George Foreman grills didn't end up in landfills because we were able to refurbish them with hiring one engineer. So that was an exciting journey. And it also gave me my first celebrity brand. And so everybody was always excited when I mentioned George Foreman, and everybody always had a story, and they were like, I have a George Foreman grill. I used it in college.
Yeah.
And that was really the launching plan, the launch pad for me to then start working with other celebrities, but really focused on sustainability. So I worked with the Bob Marley family, the first eco-friendly headphone company ever. Nobody in that industry had pushed those limits, and that was over a decade ago. So yeah, that's been my journey. And then I love working with women leaders. I love working with sustainable projects. Yeah.
well, you know, and we've talked before. This is not our first time to speak, and you know, I mean, you know, to put everything down in one little, you know, timeline, you know, it'd be about 20 feet long, you know. So, you know, I mean, again, what you found though, I mean, you know, again, your whole history though has been, you've been in so many parts of the world, and you've seen how things work. You know how it works for different countries, and you know, and I think that's really valuable. I wish more people after they graduated from school could travel, because I think travel is the key to finding out what the world's about. But then we also find out something very, very important, which is we're really all connected, and the more connected we are, the more valuable our resources are, where we can share them as well. But the House of Marley, I like that. The House of Marley was really a way for you to truly see how that would work. George Foreman, yes, but the House of Marley, and then it just moves into all these other projects. I mean, the House of Marley, the founding member of the House of Marley, that in itself would be something you could talk about probably for at least an hour or more. And then the green movement, giving back. But, you know, again, you've moved from one point to one point. And now, well, and then ACON, is it ACON, AKON, is that ACON?
Yeah.
The Lighting Africa project, you know. So, I mean, you've just seen the way to see how to find good. Now, I like what you say about the most important thing you're doing, and you do this day to day and every project that you're in, is that you're building a tribe for good. And I really, really like that. So again, describe your journey, describe the overall journey, because you talk about investments, sponsorships, partnerships, you know, and I like being brutally honest. I am too. And it's not easy being a woman. I found that over and over again. You know, I mean, I worked in a large healthcare system, and I had to wear a long skirt. This was back when I had padded shoulders, and I actually wore a tie. And so I came from a time that also women leaders, first of all, they weren't valued, but second of all, we didn't have the role models. We didn't have the leaders to emulate from. So many of us were kind of put, you know, women were put in a man suit to act like a man. So, and as being a woman leader, you know, I wasn't valued as that. The more I followed the culture of the company and followed the rules of the company, I was therefore accepted and acceptable to the culture itself. So tell me about your journey, because it's really important what you're doing.
Yeah. And I think really, you hit on two things that I think really important for me. It's just that creating that community and that network, right? Because I worked over a decade back to back with celebrities, it gave me access to a lot of people. And I would say one of my superpowers is I'm a connector. I love connecting people, right? If you connect good people to good people, like good things just happen, right? It's inevitable. Yeah. And so I started learning about different organizations and networks that were supporting women leaders. And I got to say, like working in Africa, I was sometimes in situations where not only was I the only woman, but I was the only white person. And it was a really interesting learning experience. And, from that, I learned I've got to seek out these networks that support women and women leaders so I can learn from them and I can also give back to them, because that's really important. And then the second thing is just finding these amazing mentor leaders, women leaders that you can look up to and you can learn from. And I'll just give you a couple examples from the networking perspective. There's two organizations that I just absolutely love. One of them is called ACTI. It stands for Athletes, Conservation, Technology, Artists, and Innovation. And it was founded by this guy, Bill Tai from Silicon Valley. He's an incredible human being. He uses technology for good. And he really believes in supporting women. He's been mentoring several women, teaching them how to create their own funds to invest in various companies. And when he creates these unique experiential events for 20 to 50 people, that he always makes sure that 50% are female attendees and at least 50% are female leaders, sitting on the panels talking about their journey. So finding those networks that have these incredible women leaders and they're conscious of it, right? Of equality and giving equal opportunities. That's really important. And the second one, which I just joined last year, which I absolutely love, is called Daughters for Earth. And that is a nonprofit organization, founded by an amazing woman family office, incredible women leaders, but they give grants to women all over the world on the ground that are impacting climate change. And honestly, they walk their talk. They're like, women need to support women. And, I've been in lots of situations in corporate America with, women bosses or women leaders, and we're not supporting each other. And it's crazy. But this group, it's like 5, 6, women leaders, and they are just all uplifting each other. I was just at EarthX with their entire team. And it was just so great to work a room. And they were always like, Karen's this, Karen's good at that. And I was like, no. I'm like, Rachel's the best at this. And we were both just uplifting each other at this conference, right? In the different meetings. And it's just so refreshing to be able to have that network and that support.
Well, like I said, there's many lessons learned here. As I mentioned to you previously, the Lift Women Up campaign is huge for Women Connect for Good. Many of the things that you're singing to the choir, and the music to my ears, that you're talking about. I don't understand, and I still, we're working on it, and it's changing and it's happening, is why women don't support each other, especially white women. I think Black women and Latino women and women of color seem to be more, maybe because of their backgrounds, are much better at supporting one another. But when it comes to white women, there's the competition comes out. The pie is big enough for all of us. There's lots of slices to the pie. And what you found and what I've found, the more that women do work together and support each other, it's so productive, but it's also so much more fun. This Daughters of the Earth, I can't wait to, I really want an introduction to my daughter. She is, it's called World System Solutions. And this is an organization, and she's the chairperson of the board that is changing. It's women in climate change, women in climate control. So, I get so excited when you talk about this stuff, Visionary Media Group. I mean, you are a visionary. And, but if we can think it and we can dream it, it's possible. And that's Women Connect for Good. Simple mission. Women supporting each other's mission, their passion, their dreams. And you know what? There's plenty for everybody. We come from a place of abundance. There's absolutely no doubt about it. So
I always tell people, like you said, right? If the pie isn't big enough, the pie is always big enough. And if it's not, then you build a bigger pie because we're all, there's enough for everybody. What you said.
Well, but this is something that we need to keep reinforcing and letting women know. We do come from a place of abundance. It's not scarcity. We have so many resources, and I love it. We use the word power to. You have the power to do whatever you want to do, and then you invite others to join and be with you. So, all right, talk about give me a story about something again that you found. Okay, these women, the daughters of Earth, of the Earth. Tell me about how that came about, and how does that work for you all?
Yeah, so specifically with Daughters for Earth, I actually met them last year at the EarthX conference, and we just happened to be sitting at a table next to each other, and we just got along so well. And immediately I was like, I love what you guys are doing. And I just started making introductions. I was like, if you guys are impacting women at a grassroots level on the ground, and I've got beautiful contacts in Africa and Latin America, I was like, of course I'm going to connect you guys. I'm like, because it's only going to help women, and we're going to have an impact on the climate change. And so I just started making introductions, right? I didn't ask for anything. I was just like, I just gave. And I've noticed that a lot of times if you give, at some point it will come back. And literally it was like months later, and she was like, you've done more than some of the other people in our network. And she's like, we've been creating this incredible advisory circle. And she's like, you've just exceeded, our expectations. And you're not even an advisor yet. So they immediately, after a couple of months, invited me to be an advisor on their team. And so I've just been talking them up and bringing them incredible contacts. I might help them with fundraising. Obviously I'm connecting them to women on the ground that are just really having an impact, and they need the financial means, right, to grow to do what they're doing. And so we're going to be helping them with that. And then the other thing that you said that I was just thinking about is just everybody has a voice, right? And we got to learn how to use our voice. And a lot of times with celebrities, if you can find the right celebrity that has the right passion and voice for a certain cause, you could really amplify, right? So Daughters to Earth is also very well connected with a couple, celebrities that are supporting them. But I realized that I've supported a lot of amazing celebrities and musicians, and they've all been male, right? From George Foreman to Bob Marley to Akon. And then I was like, so I woke up one day and I was like, I'm sitting, like I spoke on a panel at ACTI, right? And someone was like, well, Karen, how come you haven't supported a female artist yet, a female celebrity yet? And I was like, oh my God, you're right. Like I need to change that. And so now I'm really excited through the Visionary Private Equity Group and the Visionary Media Group. I get to support two amazing female artists. One of them is a mother-daughter duo, and they're the first Black mother-daughter country singer duos. And so I've had this amazing opportunity now to support them and their voice and get to learn about what's they're passionate about. And they're passionate about supporting women. They're also passionate about mental health and well-being, right? And so I get to align them with the sustainable development goals and find them amazing opportunities to get their voice out there. And the second artist is Lee Nash, and she's also just an incredible musician and singer, and she's got amazing causes as well that she backs. So yeah.
Well, then at the end of the day, you must feel really good. You must feel absolutely amazing that it's really not that difficult, is it?
No.
When you really start and look at the process itself, which is, Women Connect for Good. That's the whole goal, is to not recreate the wheel, but to take what parts of the wheel that we can use and help one another to create and to grow this community. But again, this is a wonderful community, and we're doing it one woman at a time. But it's still disappointing to me when I've done leadership training, women's leadership training, when someone says to me, well, what do I do about the mean woman at work? And this is something. What would you advise if a young woman comes to you? And I get this all the time, that they come to me and they say, what do I do about this woman? All I'm trying to do is really build and grow in this company and learn. And there's this one woman, she just is bound and determined just to block me in every way, shape, or form she can. And what do I do about her? So what's your advice about that?
We've all been in that situation before, myself included. And I always, there's a lot of different things you can do. One, I always give it 100% my best, right? And sometimes it's just about making that other person shine, right? So just finding out what I can do to add value to that person and make that person shine. Because if you make that person shine, whether you get credit or you don't get credit, it doesn't matter. As long as the end goal gets accomplished, that is what matters, right? So kind of not get caught up in the ego of it and who's going to get credit. Just make that boss or that person on your team shine, right? And then really, if that situation doesn't change, then that's not an environment where you want to stay, right? So then just move on to the next environment, like build your tribe, build your network, build your community. And if that community isn't showing support and isn't giving you those opportunities, then move to the next community, build a community.
Well, one of the things that I offer is ask that woman how you can help. There's something amazing that draws a line in the sand, or the line in the sand goes away, is when you say, I really, you do such a fantastic job, and I really look at you, and there's so much I can learn from you, but how can I help you? How can I continue to help you to do the job you do? I mean, how many people will really say, I don't need your help. I don't want your help. I don't need your help. So, I mean, there are ways that women can continue to join and begin a conversation that will help both of them to grow and to lift one another up. So I think that is the key, is that, when we use words and we begin to have dialogues and conversations, something completely happens. And, and also the other thing that women don't do a lot of, and I don't know if you're good at this or not. I know there's times that I'm not as good as I should be or could be, is asking for help. We get that Superwoman t-shirt on, we put it on in the morning, and we're, ready to go out the door. And, you're not going to show any of your weaknesses. You're going to be on top of your game today. You're going to be there. You're going to do it. So, again, asking for help is something that women have to learn to do as well. Yeah. Are you good at that? Are you good at that?
I agree. I have learned that. I was one of those people that just wanted to plow through it and go and figure it out and not ask for help. But you know what? If you ask for help, you can actually amplify and get to solutions faster, right? And you can have even bigger impact, right? But it takes a lot of time. Women are natural givers, right? So we want to give, do, but we don't stop and reflect and take care of ourselves and ask for help and ask people to fill those gaps. And it's also just understanding what you're good at, right? And what you like. Like, I'm a super connector. I love it. And I excel at that, but I may need help in a certain area, and finding that right community and that right person who can complement my skill set. Right. I think that's one thing. And then there was something else you said that I really liked. Oh, asking for help. I would go to all these conferences, and, I would meet people, and people are like, oh, you're connected to this person. Can you help me here? Can you help me there? Can you connect me to this person? And I was constantly go. And once I had someone look at me and they were like, well, how can I help you, Karen? And I literally I was like, oh my God, I don't know.
Well, I'm going to surprise you again, because I think that's the question I have for you today. You are doing an amazing thing in the world, and Women Connect for Good really is about growing a community of like-minded people. You become the people you spend time with, but like-minded people who come together, like Ed Martin and Fifth Element, who come together, and really their goal is, they've all been successful in business. They've all been successful in industry, just as you've been explaining. But what they also now have huge amounts of resources that they want to do good and change the world for good. So asking for help, but then how can I help? How can I help, Karen? How can I help you?
How can you help me? Well, first of all, just having me here on your podcast and interviewing me, I'm like, that's helping me spread my mission and my goal and my vision of helping other women, right? And I think, connecting me to amazing, wonderful people. Like, I was connected to you through the Fifth Element group, right?
Right.
So connecting me to more.
I'd love you to meet Reagan Thompson, my daughter, because she is probably one of the most passionate people you'll ever meet. And climate change and climate control is so important to her. And she's a very spiritual, a very loving, and a very caring woman. and she's all about doing good. So I can't wait for the two of you to connect. But I think that's the whole point of this, is that when we really see each other and we stop and we're transparent, we tell our stories. You know, you came from a family that loving, caring. You had a mother that was extremely supportive, a father. You said your mother gave you, let's see, your mother gave you the heart, and your father gave you the wings. Now, what was it? You said your mother gave you the
roots,
and your father gave you the wings. And, you know, and I think that's it. Part of it is mentoring is so important. You know, we can't be what we can't see, what we can't hear about, and we can't read about. And so the more women see women like yourself, the more they go, hey, I think I can do that. Hey, all I need to do is get support. You know, and if somebody asks you to be their mentor, what an honor, what an absolute honor. But, you know, I was told early on that everyone should have a mentor. Be a mentor and get a mentor. I've always been told that, you know, get a coach, be a coach. So I've always been told that nobody gets anywhere alone. And sometimes there's these people that I, me, mine people, I, me, mine. You're just like, ooh, that's scary. But again, how can we help by continuing your mission? And you know, again, we're all about promoting what we can with other people and what their mission is. So I think today, what's most important to you? What is the most important thing Karen could tell me today that she needs help with?
I think the most important thing today is just, just continue to help me grow my network, right? And to grow my tribe. Because the more people I can meet, the more I understand what they're doing, how I can help them. I might be able to connect them with the right person in my network, because that's one of my superpowers. I love connecting people, and that could amplify a business and have an incredible impact on millions or billions of people in this world, right? So the more I can, you know, learn or meet or know the people in Women Connect for Good, then the more I can also connect the dots, and collectively we can just have this incredible impact, right? And not just impact millions or thousands, but billions, right?
Well, I've got several organizations I would love to make introductions to, and vice versa. But again, this is the exciting part, you know, is that the bigger we get, and of course, asking you and your organizations to join the Lift Women Up campaign. It's very simple. There actually is a campaign, 52 weeks of how one woman can lift another woman up. And we know if we lift as we rise, and somebody comes with us, our tribe gets bigger and bigger and better and better. So we would challenge you to continue, not challenge, we would ask that you be a part of that campaign. And again, the women that you're with, the Daughters of the Earth, you know, Lift Women Up campaign is something that is very simple to do, but they're just simple things people can do every single week of 52 weeks of the year, just to lift another woman up. That's it.
I love that.
And sometimes the simple things are the best things, right? Right.
Count me in. I'm there. That's wonderful. Love
All
that.
right. So how can they learn more about you? Let's get that information out there. We'll put it on our website. And of course, we would truly invite people to get to know you better, what you're doing, and all the different organizations that you're involved with, which are I saw 40, then I saw 50. There's so many organizations that you've been involved with and are involving that the list would be extremely long, but we want to make sure that they find you, find what you're doing, and how they can help you as well.
Yeah. So I think my website is a great place, KarenKorponai.com. And then LinkedIn. LinkedIn is more updated right now. I'm a little bit behind on updating my website, so I've got to get that up to date. But I think the best way is, my website, connect with me on LinkedIn, and anyone is also welcome to connect with me on email, which is karen.korponai@gmail. So my first name dot my last name @gmail.
Yeah. Well, what would you like to leave us with? Words of wisdom. You know, I think I wrote it down, and in my trying to get on Zoom today, I've lost it. But what would you like to leave us with your words of wisdom?
Words of wisdom. I would just love to leave people with the message that not to give up, like everything and anything is possible.
Yeah.
And just
Not to give
Not
up.
give up on your passion and your dreams, right? Just don't give up.
Yeah. And each one of us came into the world with all these talents, all these abilities and resources, and we still have them. We have to remind ourselves, especially women have to remind themselves that they have all those things at their finger touch. But again, sometimes it takes one other woman to say, wait a minute, you're an amazing person. You're an absolutely amazing person. And like you kept using the word, it's time to shine. Shine, be as bright as you can possibly be. So thank you for what you're doing. This is not the last time we'll be speaking. I know that we'll have other conversations, and again, ways that we can help us both to continue our mission, a mission to build that tribe of good people and to make the world a better place.
Excellent. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And I really enjoyed this conversation. I look forward to more. Thank you, Nancy.
All right. Well, I will be asking you to speak to my daughter, Reagan. She's delightful. I think when you talk to her, you'll just, she shines also. And the brighter you both shine, the more light there is for the rest of the world.
I love that.
Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Talk to you later. Bye-bye. If you enjoy these smart, amazing conversations, please subscribe, rate, and review them on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. And read and enjoy more amazing stories in my books, In This Together, How Successful Women Support Each Other in Work and Life, and Leading Women, 20 Influential Women Share Their Secrets to Leadership, Business, and Life. Thank you for listening.